Hello, welcome to another weekly procedure, and today we're going to look on how you can register for KCSE examinations in Kenya. Down here below, we have given you a link which is going to direct you to our wiki procedure website page, where we have given you detailed information on how you can go about the registration process. Additionally, on the right hand side of our screen, we have included a select language option, which you can click and choose the language which you can easily comprehend, and by choosing that language, all the information on the wiki procedure website page is going to be translated in the language of your choice, and you can easily read through the instructions, and you can also revert back to English by once again selecting English, and everything will be translated back to its original form. We have also included links to the online portal where we are going to visit to make the online application, and we are going to see how to go about the process as we move on with the presentation today. We are also going to visit the application forms and see how one is supposed to fill these application forms for registration, and where and when to submit them, the fees applicable, and we are going to cover this as we move on with the presentation today. But before we do that, I will urge you to go ahead and click the subscribe button and the like button on our YouTube channel. So let's get back to our presentation. And the list of items which you are going to cover in this session include the need for registration for KCSE, the eligibility, the required documents, steps to follow while making the application, the fees, validity period, processing time, office location and contact information, and any other information that we might find relevant on how to make the registration for the KCSE examination. So welcome to our presentation today, which is brought to you by wikiprocedure.com. Need for registration for KCSE. Registration allows a candidate to sit for the KCSE, that is the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, for the year they have applied for. This will enable the candidate to acquire a KCSE, that's a Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education certificate. The eligibility criteria is as follows: individuals, citizens and non-citizens who have undergone secondary school education are eligible to apply, and they're supposed to be, if they are in school, they are supposed to be in their final year of education. And if they are private candidates, they can either be adults who have who didn't get a chance to do the KCSE examinations, or are repeaters who have already taken the KCSE examinations and are attempting it for the second time. Prisoners are also allowed to sit for the KCSE examinations. Required documents are as follows: you need digital passport photos, a copy of the birth certificate, and for private candidates they must include a valid KCPE certificate or EAE, KCE, or a foreign qualification certificate accompanied by a NEC equation letter, or a primary certificate other than KCPE, and a qualifying test results from NEC indicating that they have already passed the NEC KCSE qualifying test. They must also produce evidence of having spent at least 3 years preceding the year of KCSE registration after sitting the KCPE and other primary school examinations. They must also produce a letter of confirmation from the sub-county education officer or the head teacher of the approved private candidate examination center where the candidate will sit for the practical examination papers. They must also produce a national identity card, a passport or an alien card for foreign candidates, and if not possible, a birth certificate and evidence of national identity card application, which is an awaiting card, will be required. The following are the steps you should take when applying or registering for the KCSE examination. You need to note that the Kenya National Examination Council was established to determine the examination required in the public interest in Kenya and to conduct the examinations and to award certificates comparable to those of equivalent examination bodies internationally. So this means the KCSE is administered and prepared by the Kenya National Examination Council, and for you to apply, you are supposed to make online applications for normal registration, and registration for the KCSE for candidates in secondary school is done online through the NEC online portal, and this is done by the headmaster of a particular school or any authorized person of that particular school. And the following documents and information are required from the candidate for registration. You need digital passport photos, copy of your birth certificate, your candidate index number, candidate full name, and the subjects which the candidate has chosen to sit for in the KCSE examinations. So all the documents for registration of the candidates are supposed to be downloaded by the headmaster or any authorized person from the NEC website, and these documents are supposed to be administered or given to the candidates so their details can be captured, and that information which has been captured can be used to fill in the required information in the NEC online portal. So after the information has been captured, the headmaster of that particular school or any authorized person is then required to log into the NEC website for capturing of the registration details of the candidates and uploading of the photographs using the registration password for that respective examination center. All candidates must be registered where they've been learning, and registration in two examination centers will be treated as an examination malpractice, and that candidate will not be eligible to sit for the examinations. Examination registration is free of charge, and the government of Kenya shall pay examination fees for all candidates in public and private schools except the following: candidates who are resitting or repeating the KCSE examinations, non-citizens, and private candidates registered in the sub-county private examination centers. So those two criteria will not be paid for and are supposed to pay for their own examinations. And all head teachers or all head of institutions are expected to assure that all candidates' registration details are captured correctly, and every candidate has confirmed the same in the signed nominal roll. Verification of registration data usually takes place in the last 2 weeks of February. Let's move on to the registration of private candidates. All private candidates are registered by the sub-county director of education. Candidates wishing to register for privately are required to download the KCSE private candidate registration form from the NEC website, and they should complete the registration form in triplicate as required and present 2 copies to the sub-county education office for further instruction within the registration period, and retain 1 copy for themselves. The sub-county education officer is then required to log into the NEC website so as to capture the registration details of the candidates and upload the photographs using the registration password for the respective examination center the candidate wishes to sit the exams in. Private candidates are then required to pay the registration fees as per the number of the examination papers they intend to do, and the fees vary depending on the number of examination papers and one intends to do. And a fee schedule payable is detailed in our fee section, and we are going to go through it as we move on with the presentation. Private candidates are allowed to individually deposit money into the NEC collection account, and the sub-county education officers are asked to ensure compliance, to make sure they comply with the regulations of NEC fee payment. And after making the payment, the private candidate is then required to submit the receipt to the sub-county education officer, and the sub-county education officer after that is expected to ensure that all private candidates' registration details are captured correctly, and every candidate has confirmed the same and signed the nominal roll. You need to note that verification of the registration data usually takes place in the last 2 weeks of February, and all head of institutions and sub-county education officer registering private candidates are asked to note that there will be no keying or amending of candidates' details after verification. you need to note that there is also no late registration for KCPE examinations. The fees payable are as follows. We have already mentioned Kenya government pays fees for all candidates in private and public school except candidates who are repeating or resitting the examination, and non-citizens and private candidates registering in sub-county private examination center. Private candidates are supposed to pay 5,500 for seven subjects, 5,900 for 8 subjects, 6,300 for 9 subjects. Fees for repeaters: 1 subject is 3,100, 2 subjects 3,500, 3 subjects 3,900, 4 subjects 4,300, 5 subjects 4,700, 6 subjects 5,100, and 7, 8, and 9 subjects are the same as the private candidates. Project fees are the same for both, and it ranges from 2,000 to 2,500 depending on the subject. So let's move on. Before we move on, let's go ahead and see how the online application is done. So head teachers are supposed to log in into the NEC website. After you have logged into the NEC website, click on registration of candidates. By clicking registration of candidates, you'll be directed to the next page, which is this page, and click on registration of KCPE, KCSE, and this is going to direct you to this next page, which now you'll be able to log in. So for secondary schools, the head teacher or the representative is supposed to click on this candidate registration, and it will take you to this page. Write the username of the school, which every school or and examination center is issued a username and a password. Log in and fill in the details of every candidate as per the details which we collected using the registration forms. And for private candidates, once you have logged in into the NEC website, go to the downloads, click on KCSE, and go to KCPE registration forms. And once you have clicked here, you'll be able to download this KCSE entry registration form. You're supposed to fill it in triplicate. Fill in your full names, your biodata, tick which subject you want to sit for, and down here you have been given details about payment. Go and make the payment and bring in the payment receipt. You have been given also details, more details about the categories of how you're supposed to make payments, and how you're supposed to sit for your practicals, and everything is explained on this paper. This is the KCSE entry form for the private candidates. Also, the head teachers are supposed to sign or give information about candidates with special needs, which include visually impaired and other impairments such as physical and hearing impairment. You're supposed to give these details to the NEC office, and also you're supposed to forward this return envelope indicating the number of students as per subject in your school. So let's move on with the presentation. The validity period of the examination registration is usually 1 year, and the next certificates have no expiry date. The processing time is 1 month, and the office location of the Kenya National Examination Council, you can contact them through the postal office PO Box of 73598, code 00200, Nairobi, Kenya, or you can visit them through their website of www.nec.ac.ke. Other information is that registration of candidates with special needs for KCSE exams, the NEC has categorized the candidates with special needs as follows. We have the visually impaired, the ones with low vision and blind candidates. hearing impaired candidates, physically challenged candidates, mentally challenged candidates, and information on the above candidates giving details of index number, subject, degree of impairment must be captured during registration and sent to NEC so that they can facilitate the candidates appropriately during the examination. And you're supposed also to include supporting evidence from a competent medical authority. So that's all. Thank you for watching, and once again urge you to go ahead and click the like button on this video right here, and click on the subscribe button so you can get more information when we upload new videos. So I wish you all the best in your registration for the KCSE examinations. Thank you for watching.